The Spotlight, shining a light on podcasts and videos that have caught our attention.
Hi and welcome to The Spotlight. I'm Jen Spiker, and today I have a podcast worth sharing, especially for the guys. Momentum is a Christian radio ministry created to help men find faith in Christ and fellowship, honesty and support amongst each other. The program is heard on Vision every weekend and is available on demand in the Vision app. The hosts, Des Kennedy and Timothy Charles, have a different guest on the show each week, talking about topics relevant to men. On a recent program, Tim and Des were joined by Brett and Kate Ryan, who lead Focus on the Family Australia, to share about the often misunderstood topic of menopause.
The Spotlight with Jen Spiker.
My co-host and good friend Des Kennedy joins us once again. How are you this week?
Great, man. This is going to be a great conversation. I'm really interested in learning a lot about what we're going to talk about. We're keeping you on tenterhooks about what the subject is. But just while I've got the mic, guys, don't forget our care line. If you're doing life on your own and you want a safe and confidential conversation, please reach out to the Momentum care line, 1-800-000-MEN. Very easy number to remember, 1-800-000-636. And that's provided by our friends at Caroline Connections. And also you can reach out to them 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m, 1-800-000-MEN. And also don't forget our new YouTube channel, Momentum for Men, that we take all of our older shows and we have now put them on YouTube so you can see us as well as hear us. Bit scary on Tim's behalf, but it's all good.
Thank you, Des. I appreciate that. Look, if you're a bit like me and you're not particularly tech savvy, just go to the website, momentumaustralia.org. You can click into the YouTube there. But I will just kind of jokingly say, keep the Caroline number handy. You might need it after this week's show, 1-800-000-636. But in all seriousness, it is there for you guys to have a confidential conversation around whatever that is. And we all need that from time to time, let's be honest. We all need a confidential, safe conversation. You could do that at the care line, 1-800-000-636. All right, time to delve into this week's show. It's going to be a little different this week due to the nature of the topic that we are about to unpack.
The CEO of Focus on the Family Australia, Brett Ryan, joins us once again this week, joined by his lovely wife, Kate Ryan, as we delve into the topic, menopause.
Now, as much as menopause is often jokingly referred to as men on pause, the truth is it is a major time of transition for a woman and can put a huge strain on a marriage and relationship. And so Brett and Kate join us to share a bit about their journey with menopause. Welcome, both of you, to Momentum.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure being with you once again.
I stand in awe that I get to be part of the men's business, secret men's business.
Secret men's business, that's right.
Now, we're in awe that you've come on the show to talk about the secret women's stuff because let's be honest, this is a topic that we can trip up with as men. We go like, what is happening? I don't understand.
Just taught her the secret handshake and it's on to secrecy.
Okay. Well, let's start off with a few general comments about menopause. And Kate, feel free to correct me if I get any of these wrong. So menopause is the point in time where women have not had a monthly period for 12 months. Menopause marks the end of the reproductive stage of their life. Most women reach menopause between the ages of 45 and 55. And in Australia, the average age for women reaching menopause is 51 to 52. Symptoms during menopause include fatigue, hot flushes, night sweats, muscle and joint aches, tender breasts, and emotional changes, including stress and sudden changes to emotions.
To all the guys that are just wanting to tune out right now, stay with us. This is an important topic, okay? There's also a perimenopause where women get lots of signs of menopause but continue to have periods, albeit often irregular. Once in menopause and then on into postmenopause, the symptoms may continue for somewhere between 4 to 5 years but decrease in frequency. And ways to manage include lifestyle changes, hormone replacement therapy, and complementary therapies. Okay, that's the backstory. Let's jump to you guys. And Kate, I know this is probably going to put you on the spot a little bit. We'll try not to make it too uncomfortable for either of you, but I think it is important to unpack some of this for the guys. So, I mean, if you don't mind, I suppose let's start with your own experience. When was that for you? How long ago was that for you?
It was, for me, it was probably around 53.
She's a late bloomer.
Yes. For Australia. So around 53. And then the lead up, I don't know that I really put my finger on that there was a lot going on. But it hit me with a vengeance with the hot flushes. Oh my goodness. We were able to laugh about it, but I'm, you picture getting hot. You can go hot or you can go cold. Well, it was on steroids. So I would just stop and I'd get sweat across my mustache. And we were over in America, and it was hot. And we went into a department store, and all of a sudden one just hit me. And Brett just turned and looked at me and went, "Oh." And he goes, "You are just dripping with sweat on your face." I said, "My face, it's running down my back. It's running down the back of my legs." It was just, and then I got through it. 5 minutes later, another one. And I just went, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can do this all day, every day.
We call it a personal summer.
Yes, a very delicate, we call it a personal summer.
That actually made it, it softens the blow,
yes,
rather than keep on, identifying that I can see it happening, this is just one of many symptoms, but there was one that was very obvious.
And he said, so you're having a personal summer. Yes, I am.
And so we had a bit of a laugh about it. And even Kate had a friend who bought a special.
My daughter-in-law's mum bought me a personal fan that goes around your neck, and you press it on and it just blows air up your neck. Oh my goodness, what a difference. So we've been able to have a lot of laughter around it because, we're, especially amongst women, we're all going to face it. And so she's come up a little slower than I, because she's a few years younger than me, but now she's in that. And I said, "Do you want to borrow your fan?"
Do you want to borrow the fan?
So that was probably the first thing that hit.
So can I ask, at that stage, had you guys talked about this, like knowing that you were coming to that age? Did you guys sit and have a discussion before you had the symptoms around, hey, this is coming up?
The premenopausal stage, her periods were becoming a little bit more erratic, not as regular. So there was something happening, and we've been always very open and transparent with what's going on, and that's a very, very blessed situation to be in. We know that many couples aren't always in that state, that they keep the conversations going, but nothing's taboo. We want to keep that open and honest conversation. And that's been very, very helpful for now and moving through this season, and will continue to be as long as we're open and honest and willing to talk about some of the feelings, the emotions, the physiological symptoms which you've identified, and even just how from a guy's point of view and from a woman's point of view. And look,
women, I had thought about it, it's in the back of my mind because I come from a family of women. And so what they had experienced, and I've just got to say that none of it was particularly good. And so in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, what am I going to get? What's going to be my story? I watched my mum. I had to go on HRT, and she tried to go off it at one point because, they're talking about it connected to breast cancer and all of that kind of stuff.
To let everyone know, HRT is hormonal replacement therapy.
Yes, sorry.
Fill you in that information.
Yes. And so she tried to go off. She'd been on it for a few years, and then she tried to go off it. Well, she went off her head. She went raging, and then she went depression. And so then she went and lived with my aunt because she wasn't coping. And I'm like, well, now my mum's disappeared. And so, she recovered once she got back on it. Within the month, she was back level again. But so for me, I'm like, oh, gosh, is this going to be my story?
One of the key things you said off air before we actually start the interview was the importance of you guys being great friends.
Yes.
And that's such an important message for men and women in this camp. Talk a little bit about how you maintained that friendship, because obviously emotions were raw and so forth.
Yes.
Des, it's a great question, because it's actually a question that we've been posing even in this last few weeks, because all the research, both secular and Christian research, would actually say that the health and well-being of a long-term relationship is based on friendship. And how does that happen? Is it just naturally you're friends, or do you have to continue to work at it? And we've been asking these questions
to other married
couples. What do they do? And I think it is the key is that you enjoy each other's company. It doesn't mean you have to be in each other's pockets all the time. And in fact, it actually helps that you do separate things of interest, that you are more interesting because you've got other interests. But to find things that have a commonality. And I mean, Kate and I, we play cards nearly every day. And it's not, just interacting with one another, but we have deep and meaningful conversations. We have laughter. We listen to music together. We listen to a podcast together. We find those things, those connection points. And then through that, we actually enjoy each other's company. And I can't even imagine my life without Kate being there by my side.
One step back from that is if we've got children, or, some people haven't had children. But if you've had children in your home and you've made them very child-centric, and you've lost the marriage kind of closeness of relationship, you might still be having sex or whatever, but your relationship, your friendship has been left to flounder a bit. And so when your kids leave, that's already floundering as you're going to hit the menopause next stage. And so we've got to be very mindful to build our relationships separate from our children.
That's really good, hey, because, let's be honest, in the chaos of the years with kids, we can lose each other. And it's just, we're literally just getting through this stage. And then, of course, you get to the other side and the kids leave, and then you kind of look at each other and go, okay,
yeah,
who are you?
It's in your relationship continuously.
And the best gift, I don't think we understand this. We think, our children just need us to be in their lives. But the best gift we can give our children is to love them, their other parent.
Yeah.
So for the wife to love their husband, the husband to love their wife. And to do that, they've got to see that we're in love.
Yeah.
Yes.
And put each other first.
So they like the yucky love stuff, everyone.
Yeah,
just listen to that. They
Yeah.
like it. And they might say things like, get a room. And I say, from your lips to Kate's ears.
We've got to be very mindful that that's the greatest gift we can give our kids. So to be child-centric is not what they need.
Yes.
I remember growing kids God's way, which I did many, many years ago, was very much about couch time, and how good and beneficial that was actually for the kids to see mum and dad conversing at the end of the day, having time together. Actually, that visibility of seeing them together on the couch was actually so good and reaffirming for kids. There was a safety and a security in that.
That's right. We even had our 21-year-old see Brett and I kissing one time in the kitchen, and we turned around and he's taking a photo, and he actually put it on the internet. Get this, puts it on the internet and says, "Mum and Dad getting hot and heavy in the kitchen." and Brett had been doing a thing on.
I was writing an article, Foreplay Starts in the Kitchen. I was doing some research.
Oh, right.
And so he puts this out there, got a lot of likes, and then we're like, oh, gosh. Anyway, so he comes and sits at our counter in our kitchen, and he says, "I can't tell you how secure it makes me feel when you guys are like this." And he was 21.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, look, we need to go to a break. A couple of things on that. Brett, we'll look forward to the book. Foreplay Starts in the Kitchen. Just let us know when it's released. Secondly, your experience talking to you guys, it's wholesome is a good word to put it. And I don't know, Des, if you can resonate with that. But when I see you two, I'm like, it's a wholesome example of what a marriage should be. The sad thing is that not many people have that. And I know that's a really icky way to end a first part of the show, but I want to come back and explore some of that, because this is the serious business of menopause, and how, depending on where your friendship's at prior to that season, will drastically affect how well you do that season and come out of that season.
Doesn't mean that you can't build your friendship now, even in the difficult season.
Absolutely.
Yes.
On the Spotlight, we've been listening to Tim and Des from Momentum with part of a recent conversation with Brett and Kate Ryan. Menopause can be a confusing time of life, and having a strong relationship before it begins can make a huge difference. We'll hear some of Brett and Kate's tips next time, but if you want to hear the full conversation right now, tap the podcast tab in the Free Vision app and search the Momentum feed for the episode with Brett and Kate Ryan. My name is Jen Spiker. If you have a favourite podcast or video series that should be featured on the Spotlight, click Contact Us at vision.org.au and share the link.
For more great podcasts and videos like the one featured today, check out vision.org.au or the Free Vision app.